What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Leveled Up Life podcast. It's Branamier, Courtney in the studio with Paul McLain.
My man.
Let's go, bro. I'm glad to be here with you. Like always, helping people level up their life in all the areas that matter most: faith, family, fitness, finance, and franchise. Dude, it's a good day to have a good day, bro. I am excited to be able to, like you just said, chop it up with you, but more than just chopping it up, learn from you, glean some wisdom from you. And man, it's a pleasure every single week to sit in here and just hear about what's happening in your life, what God is doing, what God has done through your life and continues to do through your life. And like we said all the time, but we walk out of here so much better than we came in. And that's our heart for the audience today, that as they're tuning in, whether they're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're tuning in from, our heart is that you would take a little bit of wisdom and just get a little bit better each and every day. So glad to be here with you, bro.
Good to be here with you, bro. I feel the same exact way. I leave here better. In fact, a lot of times I got all these Zooms and I have the privilege to be able to connect with a lot of different leaders and teams, and they'll say something like, man, that was good. And I'm like, that was from Branamier.
Let's go.
So
Let's go.
They don't know, dude, because they don't know. And I actually don't even promote this podcast to certain people intentionally. Because I want them to think I'm smarter than I actually am. So, but hey, guys, good to have you. In today's topic.
Well, dude, the truth is, like, we were at a conference yesterday and the pastor quoted another pastor, and as it was his, topic, but it was actually from a book. And I think that's what we all do. It's like, we're all stealing stuff, dude. We're all like out there just gleaning wisdom from each other. But anyways, go ahead.
No, hey, I agree. And the goal is to keep it in front of you,
that's right?
And so the concept today is better is caught before it's taught. And the one thing I'd say to this topic, and we're really going to unpack, like, how do you catch better, right? Because like if we look at the leveled up life, that's really just saying like a better life. And I even love, like, when you look at, Jesus, when he talks about he came to give you life and life more abundant, right? And I think a lot of times that next level that's before us, what does the enemy want to do? He wants to come and kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to steal that level before you can grab that level.
That's good.
And the goal is to get better so you can go out there and attain the next level, because in order for you to get here, you got to kind of be better, right?
True.
In order to get there, you can't be as good as you are at this level. You got to develop. I always say, like, first and foremost, if you want to get to a higher level, you got to think at a higher level. You got to be exposed to a higher thought process. You got to be exposed to a different perspective. You got to wear different lenses to go out there and do that. Well, how do you do it? Well, you got to catch better, a better perspective, a better thought process, a better belief system. And so today we're going to talk about that. Like, if you want to go out there and like, man, I want more in my life for my family, my faith, my fitness, my franchise, like, this is going to translate within all those categories, so to speak,
100%.
that you want to get better. And so how do we get better? It's caught more than it is taught. So let's talk about it, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing is, number one, taking an evaluation of your current situation, your current environment, because I think we can get so accustomed or used to kind of just how life always is. And it's not until you get exposed to something bigger or better to where you realize, man, I could have that abundant life, that John 10:10 life, that Zoe life. But if you don't know, you won't grow, right? And so I think we've made it intentional in our life that anytime there's like leadership events or conferences, or just like, people who are further ahead of us in different areas, like, we've always said, hey, like, let's get in the room, because what happens is when you're in the room with people who are quote unquote better or further along with you, man, you leave, at least we do, we leave encouraged to go, hey, not that we're, because I think sometimes what happens is you go to like an environment like that, we don't have that, man, that sucks. Like, we should be there. We don't leave like that. We leave like, man, God's called us to steward, the place where we're in right now. How can we make this place better? And so I always think, for me, man, I got to get around other people that are just doing it a little bit better. Quote, I don't want to keep saying better 100 times in this podcast, but right. It's simply the truth, because you don't know if you haven't been exposed to it. And so, like, yesterday we were at a Gerald Brooks leadership event, took some of the team down there, and part of my goal, not just for me, but for the people I follow, is also to expose them to different environments so they can see, like, man, if God's doing something great for them, then he could also do it for us. And so you can like read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can watch YouTube, but it's almost like until you get in the room, you don't really know, right? And so one thing in our organization, we've been very intentional, and I think it's helped us a lot in the high desert, because the truth is, and I love the high desert. It's why I live here. I planted a church here. Like, my family's here. But the standard of living in most places is kind of low. or the excellence of like, let's say like community is like kind of low, or just like the aesthetic of places are just like average. So when you walk into something, you're like, oh, this is different. Like you can feel the difference, and the difference is like intentionality. And so many people walk into our church and they're like, dude, it just feels good in here. Well, number one, I believe it's the Holy Spirit and the presence of God. But number two, it's like we've tried to be intentional about the culture of the people and like the way we make you feel. And so it would translate into a business environment. Like you walk into certain offices, you're like, kind of stale. Feels kind of like, is what it is, average. Yeah. You walk into some offices, you're like, dude, there's a buzz in here. It's a different feel. I can't explain it, but it's like the behavior of the people. And that's what we're talking about, like getting in those type of environments so you can not copy what they have, but grow from what they have and get a bigger vision for where you're at. And so whether that's a business, a church, or even like a city, like we're going to Orange County today. It's better, most people say, than where we live. So like exposing your kids and your family to a better way of living and go, hey guys, this is what's possible. And you're going to catch the behavior and then hopefully bring it back home and impact your environment. So
it's so good, dude. I was thinking about like, when I got started in the business, because there's gaps between where you're at and where you want to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't skip like 17 levels, right? There's progression. And, how I was raised, like we didn't go out to eat ever, like never, dude. Yeah. Like so, if we went to McDonald's and I had like, like a soda, like dude, I would sip it like slowly to make sure like I could savor it. And so when I got in the business, one of the things that I told my wife, I said, sweetheart, listen, if I hit my goals on Sunday after church, we're going to Applebee's, right? Go. And it was like a big deal. Like we'd go and like to me, it was like exposing like that was a big deal because I never went out to eat. Right. Like it was like you don't spend the money doing it. And as I continued to get in different rooms and environments and getting exposed to like, okay, a different level of what normal could be. Because normal is basically the level you're living at. And in order to get to the next level, you got to step out of normal, get uncomfortable. And it starts like, I love what you said, like exposure. You got to be exposed to it because you don't know what you don't know until you know it or until you're exposed to it. And then eventually got to a place where it's like, okay, I'm going to go on these 90-day like madman cycles, like where I'm locked in, nonstop, hyper-focused. And if we hit the goal, babe, we're going to go for 3 days to the Ritz-Carlton. And it wasn't like we were crushing it, right? Like I was newer in the business. But what I was doing was, and I remember having an old mentor tell me like, man, you got to get exposed to just like different levels that are way above like what you're used to. Don't go from Applebee's to Outback, right? Yeah. Like just like really kind of change the exposure. And we'd go for those couple days and I would just see like the way it was, I was being exposed to that environment and even like the Ritz-Carlton and the level of excellence and how they treat you and how they serve you. And it's like this unreasonable hospitality and like the way they value you and like all those things. I was starting to catch it, right? And then I'd go back and it's like, okay, well, how do I bring this to my clients? Yeah. And it's one of those things where you just don't know. And, there's a lot of underlining value to being exposed to high levels that you might be going after because you're like, I want just a good experience, but you don't realize that you're catching like a different standard. Certainly. So like I remember going back and dealing with my clients and thinking like, the Ritz-Carlton, most places, if you're like, where's the bathroom? They're like, oh, it's over there. Turn. Like, dude, it don't matter who you ask. They're like, let me show you. And they'll walk you all the way through and say, they'll open the door for you. And you're like, well, dude, that was kind of crazy. Right. And what I realized is like, I didn't even catch it yet because it was like almost subconscious, but I started to find ways to exceed expectation for my clients. It's like, okay, the standard is you help a client with life insurance. How do I exceed expectation? Man, I follow up and I get their beneficiaries information. I call the beneficiaries and I let them know who I am and I send them a card and all these different things, and it exceeded expectation. So good. And that led to a higher quality of business, more persistency, more referrals. And so like it's so important to like realize that getting exposure and then knowing where you're at as well. Yeah. Like being aware and interrogating your reality, like what level are you actually at? Yeah, very good. And then get exposed to higher levels. And then eventually you start to believe that you're the type of person that can have that marriage, that can have that relationship, that can have that business. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to get environments like that and not come back and evaluate your situation and glean something from from like Ritz-Carlton, like you don't run a hotel chain, but it's like, how can I apply this to my business, to my situation, to my family, to my church, whatever it is. And so that leads us right into number 2. It's like, you don't have to copy better. Like you can borrow it. And so you take what you see and then you go, hey, how can we apply these standards to our business? Because I think what happens, certainly where we're at now, is we're exposed to everyone, good and bad, especially with social media, right? So you can begin to follow someone online, whether it's a business or, a sales trainer or whatever it is, and you're like, dude, I got to do it just like them. And then the problem is the next day you see someone else and you're like, oh, I like that. I got to do it just like them. And then the next day you're like, oh, I love it how this guy does it. And then before you know, you're not doing anything because you're confused by everyone. And so the goal isn't like to copy someone's system or program necessarily. The goal is to catch their standard. The goal is to catch their thought. The goal is to catch their excellence and then apply the way of thinking to your system. Because I think, especially early on when you're starting out, man, and I've always said this and I believe this, like find someone who's ahead of you and borrow a lot of things from them. Yeah. But at some point in the business, like you got to be you, right? I think that they say in ministry, most pastors don't find their voice until like 5 to 7 years. And as I look back and reflect, I'm like, that's true. Yeah. Like, dude, there's some days I was preaching like this guy, preaching like that guy, like early on, because you're just trying to like, dude, I like how he said it. And so you're just kind of like trying to be you, but you're still figuring it out. But it's not until you have so many reps that you really find your voice. And so in business, it would apply like steal everything from you. Like you're new in sales, talk like Paul, like get an accent, like, get a California boy accent, like cut your hair like him, would dress like him, like do everything like how he did it. But at some point, like you got to figure out who you are and you borrow the principle, the value, the standard, and you apply it to your life. And so don't just simply copy like we were at a church yesterday. And it's easy to look around and go, okay, we got to start doing our onboarding like this. We got to start doing our growth track like this. And you're just like well, that's not really us. Yeah. Like that's not our context. That's not necessarily our environment. That's not necessarily the people in who we're shepherding. And so for me, it's like, you don't have to copy every step. But you just got to be intentional with the infrastructure, with the clarity, and really just borrowing the mindset. So you don't have to copy it, but certainly borrow the standard, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude, I think that's so good because it's like, then you start kind of going into comparison, right?
Yeah,
It's like, okay, I need to be them.
Right.
Well, that's like the thief of all joy. Certainly. And so you can be doing well, right? And what is really supposed to be a step up in the right direction kind of halts you because now you're comparing. And that comparison is going to lead to a lack of joy and gratitude. Yeah. And now you're in this tension of like really stalling your growth, right? And so I think it's one of those things as you step in and you get exposed to those environments, kind of knowing, being almost like pre-deciding like, hey, I'm going to be tempted to think like, oh, I got to change all this. Yeah. But really what I need to be looking for is like the mindset, their belief, their vision, their language, their communication, and kind of figuring out like how do we catch more of that, and being excited about it, right? Yep. It's like the other thing is celebrating like the standards and the success that you hope for.
Right.
I think that's such an important thing. It's like when you go in, it could be anything like, going into a church like Patriots, I mean, it's massive, right? They're so excellent. Or it could be going into a business where you're stepping in and this person's been in sales for 15 years and you've been 2-3 years and you're like looking at what they're able to do. What they have different resources. Right. They're in a whole different, there's so many different variables at hand. And so what you got to do is make this pre-decision that I'm deciding that when I go in, I'm not going to like beat myself up in comparison because what I think is probably isn't. Yeah. What I think isn't probably is. And I'm just going to go out there and be inspired. And I'm going to celebrate like, man.
For sure.
Praise God. Like this is a place that we're going to get to. God is faithful. He's good. And we're going to continue to be obedient to him and his calling. And look at what is possible when you're obedient and dependent on God. And I think it's the same thing for business. I've had agents where at an award ceremony, there's people walking across stage and they're just kind of like, and they're trying to like judge them and like, or they either like try to put qualifiers. Well, that person, they must have just had the good shot. They had a good mentor, or that person is special. Like they're so good. I can never be like that. Like when you put anybody on a pedestal, whether that's trying to dequalify them or overqualify them, neither one of them honor God.
That's good.
And so you just have to be like celebrating it. Like I'm celebrating your success, because whatever you celebrate, you propagate. Whatever you celebrate, you accelerate in your own life. And so it's kind of like getting into these environments and being excited. I think when you're excited, that's kind of like the breeding ground for it to be caught. Because if you step in and you're either comparing or judging,
so good,
then it's kind of like you're putting on like a block wall that's preventing you from catching what you need to catch in order to go out there and achieve your next level, right?
That's great. Really good. Number 3, you will only pursue the level you believe you deserve. And I think this is really the foundation of most things in life is identity. It's like believing that. For us, it's like we have a foundation of faith. So it's like believing what God actually says about you. Like Matthew 3 or Matthew 5 is like Jesus is telling the crowd, like, hey, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. He's like laying a foundation of what their identity actually is. He's not saying, hey, guys, if you do enough good things, like you'll eventually be light. If you do X, Y, and Z, then you'll be salt. He's like, no, this is who you are. Now you got to believe it. And then once you believe it, then you begin to live like it. And I think for so many of us, like we just simply don't believe we deserve better because of past mistakes, because of environment, because of, where we are now, because our history, and that there's evidence of, man, well, maybe I actually don't. And like, I think so many people have to be very intentional not to believe a lie that they are what they did. Yeah, that's what they did, but that's not who they are. And so as a leader, as a business person, as someone who has influence, like you will never reach the next place of impact if you don't believe you deserve to be there. And so I think number 1, it starts with a posture of humility, going, hey, I'm not there yet, but I believe I can be there. And so I'm going to consistently go to the Lord, go to mentors, go to people in my life and say, hey, where am I falling short? Where am I messing up? Where am I not there yet? Speak into my life. Like I need accountability. I need structure because I know where I can be and I believe I can get there, but I can't do it necessarily on my own. And so for me, it's like, man, is someone humble enough to recognize where they fall short and at the same time open and available for people to speak into the life because they believe on the inside, man, I could be this person. And so like better isn't a destination that you'll someday meet. It's a constant, it's a pursuit in a posture of your heart that going, hey, I want everything out of this life that God has for me. I think you did a podcast. I think it was with Jonah a couple weeks ago. I saw a clip online. I love what he said. He said, one day I'm going to stand before my maker and I want to stand before my maker completely depleted. And I was like, that's a good thought. Like I gave this life everything that I have. And for me, when I think about like that kind of frame of living, it's going, hey, I want to pursue everything that I have because I believe I can make a massive impact. And to me, it's like, man, if everyone just believed that they are who God said they were and believe they really have these qualities and can accomplish these things, then how different would life look? But man, we let life beat us up. We let failures identify us. We let, the pain in the past identify us as opposed to going, again, yes, what I did, but that's not who I am. So number 1, I think it starts with belief.
Hey, so if somebody's on here and, maybe they're like, okay, they go through seasons where they're like, I do believe more. I believe I'm a child of God. I believe in my identity, but it just doesn't like take a root.
Yeah.
Right. Like it just doesn't ever like really settle in where the results of their life start to reveal that the roots are deep in who they are. Mm-hmm. Like how would you suggest that they build up this deserve more, right? Where they believe that they deserve a better marriage, a better kids, a better family, a better financial situation. Like they deserve that there's more in store, that they can get these next levels. Like how do they best unpack maybe life beating them up and stepping into this deserve more? Like what's some practical they could do?
Well, number one, I think they have to realize that deserving more has nothing to do with performance, and it has nothing to do with stuff or material, because I think a lot of us can think like a better life is Orange County, or a better life is a bigger house, or a better life is nicer stuff. That's not a better life necessarily. Like, a foundation of faith is, no, I got more joy, I got more peace, I got more gratitude, I got more, love. So that's an actual better life, right? When it comes down to it. And so number one, I think having the understanding that it has nothing to do. So if like life's beating you up and like, dude, I got fired, I'm always struggling, my marriage is still like kind of on the rocks. Like these are all circumstantial things that you can fix with like therapy, that you could fix with counseling, that you could fix with the right environment, that you could fix with, applying practical things to your life. But none of those things, like a better marriage is not going to, it's great, but it's not going to fulfill you. Like those are all good things to pursue and to have. But the truth is you could only be truly fulfilled by having understanding that your hope is in the Lord. Like, and this is going a little bit spiritual, but like when it's all said and done, to me, it's all internal, right? So having an understanding like, yeah, I want these things and I want the quote unquote better life, but my hope is in the Lord. My joy comes from Him. My strength comes from Him. So it's like more of an internal thing.
Yeah.
So
funny thing is, dude, I just typed in internal things. Because it's dude, I think like when you look at the stuff that you mentioned, Brian, like that was such a great explanation. And it was very, not just, it wasn't just a good explanation. It was clear and concise. And my note before you actually added flavor to it expresses that, right? Like that it was clear. I think we're all chasing, like when we get down to it, like if we're like, I want the bigger house, the better car, the better like all these different
things. The better office, the better church, building, whatever it is.
All the external things. I think it's, if we really get down to it, it's you're chasing the emotion that you believe is going to come when you achieve those things.
Correct.
So if I get the nicer car, then I'm going to feel more noticed, or like people are going to see me as more successful.
Yeah.
Like so you're chasing the emotion. Like if I have a better relationship, then I'm going to feel more loved. If I have the better office and the better business, I'm going to be more grateful. And so it's like you're chasing these things for the emotion that you believe is going to be produced when you achieve those things. Right. And I think you said it so well. This is an internal thing, not an external thing.
Right.
I think the enemy will get you to believe that it's outside, it's external, and the external affects the internal. The Holy Spirit is what empowers you from the inside out, nothing from the outside in. And so, although those things, there's nothing wrong with them, when they become the chief chase of your life to get the emotion, you're gonna get there. And when you hear people that have achieved success say, "Man, I got there, and I felt more empty," it's because they thought the external thing was going to fill their heart with love, joy, and peace, which is only produced from the internal spirit within you. And so, I think as we look at this one, and man, I loved your answer. Like, I love it when you get deep. It gets me thinking. It's like, man, like testimonies are so powerful. Like, I love what they talked about yesterday. Like they have a testimony share the concept. And it's like, if you can get, I think that's why it's so good to read books. Like if you're in business, it's like you read a book on somebody that had massive success in business, and then what you realize is that, dude, they had the same struggles as you. Right. So the same things that you say have disqualified you, they actually use in that book to say that was the very thing that qualified them to become the kind of person that could build the business that they built. And so you start to get exposed to testimonies, and I think the testimonies will help you believe that you deserve more as well.
100%.
Like then I start thinking like, well, why not me? Maybe God does have a purpose and plan. That person, man, I thought I was bad, dude. They were worse than me, right? Like, and so testimonies I think are important, and then like, you know, I mean, in fact, the word says that we're going to be saved. We're saved by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and so like, what I've been trying to do more frequently, Brian, is like just surround myself with more testimonies.
Yeah,
you know, in different areas of my life, because it's easy to forget. And then you slide off your deserve. So then you stop believing you deserve, and you don't even realize it. Like who wakes up and just says like, "Where's my deserve more today?"
Yeah.
Like what level am I at with my deserve? With like, you just don't do it, dude. Like you just don't. And so, anyways, I'm just thinking like,
no, it's good. I think, you know, I mean, you've told this story several times. Like even when you were at your lowest moment with Parker, like the next day when you found out she got diagnosed, it's like, man, you overcome that defeated, depleted feeling by the word of others' testimony, right? And so I think for so many of us, like you're right, you got to find other people who have been in your situation, hear their story of overcoming or getting through the darkness, and it gives you hope to move forward in your circumstance, right? And so these are all things that come down to like, I'm not what happens to me. I'm not what I did, but like I have a identity rooted in something so much deeper than I could even explain. It's like what the Apostle Paul said. He's like, Philippians 4, he's like, I've learned the secret to being content. I've learned the secret to having joy, to having peace. It's like, I can do all things. Like I've been fed, I've been starving, I've been homeless, I've been housed, I've been rich, I've been poor. Like I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And so I think that's what we're really talking about, is having like a true contentment that, yes, I'm going after the next level. I'm going after the next achievement, but those things don't bring me contentment or peace or joy. Like it's an identity in who I actually am and what God says about me. Right. And so.
Yeah, so good. The one thing I would add as we wrap up, guys, is you know, there is like, once you kind of have that right, then the focus should be on your activity, not the outcome.
Yeah.
Right. And
Very
so,
good.
like my deserve more, it's like, okay, first of all, I believe that I can build a big business. I believe that God will bless me, that I'm the head, not the tail. I'm blessed in all that which I put my hand. But then you look at the premise to when you say blessed to all that which you put your hand, it says that to the generous person,
correct,
to the giver. And so then it's like, okay, there's premises to everything, but I'm gonna go after and operate and focus on doing the premise, and I'm not going to be so headstrong on the result and let the result lower my deserve more.
Very good.
Because the result's not showing up yet. So does that mean I deserve less? No. It just means that I've got to be patient through the process for it to show up. And so what I would encourage you to do is once you've got your identity right, is now focus on your activity.
So good.
If you deserve a big bit, like your activity should support that. Like when I get here at 5 a.m., I'm starting to build my deserve more. Like I literally deserve to have a business that grows more than most. Why? Because I'm doing more than most. I'm doing the activity, right? And no difference with like my marriage. If I'm consistently doing a date night every single week, and I'm consistently now trying to ensure I send a text message because God knows, like my wife was like, are you alive today?
Yeah.
And I was like,
nice to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've had that multiple times. So like now I'm intentionally
for sure.
So if I continuously do that consistently, well then I should deserve to have a better relationship with my spouse. So it's like biblical and identity, but then also there's the like me putting the work in. God doesn't bless, like he's not like, I love passive Christianity. No, you go do the work.
I mean, even as you're talking, I got identity is the foundation, but identity without application or implementation is not even like you don't even truly believe.
Right.
And so once you have the right identity and you don't do nothing about it, you don't really believe that's your true identity, because if you did, you would have application, and application leads to impact, right? So it's like, I'm a multi-million-dollar business owner, and you say that every day 100 times, but you don't do anything. Well, you're not really that, and you don't really believe it.
Yeah.
I am a Christian, but you don't love people, you don't pray for people, you don't give, you don't serve, like you don't like go to, like you don't do anything. Well, you're not really that. So it's like, identity is everything, but identity without application is nothing. And so I think what we're all going after is the impact that we can actually make on those around us. And so
that was great,
I don't know, just as you're wrapping up,
very good, guys.
Well, I might preach that this weekend.
I think you should. And that was great. It was great for me. And so if you're on a Zoom that I get to host in the next week or so, and I take all that Brand said. It is what it is. I'll
Same here, bro.
repackage a little bit, but guys, I appreciate you joining. I hope this served you and served you well. I hope it blessed you. It was good for me.
Yeah.
I hope it was good for you. If it was, share this, right? If you're a person that cares for people, right? If that's your identity, well, then how do you show it with your with your, what is it?
Application.
Application
Leads to impact.
Well, hey, apply this by sharing this with somebody, and you might have a great impact for them in their life. So, guys, we love you. Make it a big week. Stay strong. Be steadfast. We'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys.